some Satanists. I say some Satanists because there is a huge misunderstanding that all Satanists are this devil worship. Hi Phoenix family, tonight's video is what is a Christo-Pagan, and my attempt is to do this video with as little opinion from myself as possible. Okay, I do need to disclose that while I acknowledge the Christo-Pagan as a practice, I do disagree with it, but I'm not going to get into all of the details on that. That is just my personal opinion, my personal feelings. However, this video is to teach you what a Christo-Pagan is. Okay, so a Christian, first of all, and I have a list here that I made, as various sections of Christianity, such as the Protestant, the Catholic, Baptist, Jehovah's Witness, Mormon, Lutheran, and the Evangelist. Those are all sections of Christianity. They are not the same. They each have their own system, but they have their own concept. And their concept is a story of Jesus in one way or the other. Okay, and that's also not all of them. The ones I listed, those are just the primary. And then we have the sections of paganism, which is the Druid, the Kemetic, the Wiccan, heathenry, shaman, Odinist, and some Satanists. I say some Satanists because there is a huge misunderstanding that all Satanists are this devil worship. Okay, so real quick, give you this explanation real quick, is that Satanist is not about devil worship. In fact, devil worship itself came from Christianity, because in the creation of Christianity, they created a bad side. They created this Jesus side, which is supposed to be the light, and then they created this devil side, which is supposed to be the dark. And that anything that you do in life that did not fall into this category must be because of this, and that you must be evil or being, forced into by the devil, whatever the case might be. So Satanist, although a very confusing name for that reason, they are not devil worshippers. So I give a suggestion to just study it for your own knowledge, just so you understand what it is that they actually believe in. But anyways, okay, so that's your list of pagans. The Christo-Pagan takes a little bit of Christianity and a little bit of paganism, and they combine them together. The most common names that we know of today in 2019 is either Christo-Pagan or Christo-Witch. All right, and the Christo-Witch is a person that studies, practices, and worships Christianity while doing spell work. All right, now I said I'm going to try to do this as much as possible with as little as opinion as possible. I don't think that it's right to do the Christian witch practice, and the reason why is because of this. The very Bible itself has a minimum of 23 verses stating how any kind of practice with witchcraft or divination would be reason to be put to death. Okay? The argument that is returned to me is that man wrote the Bible. And then I also return that with, yes, Man wrote the Bible. Man wrote it several times in several different versions. Man also created Christianity. I also understand that hoodoo, voodoo, and Santeria have some kind of pagan activity with witchcraft and also Christianity, but they didn't always have that. All of that came in with the Christian conversion, just like Christianity itself. Okay, when that religion exploded like it did throughout the centuries, more and more people that were pagan were taken out or converted. All right, so in many practices, Christianity took over everything. It's in the government offices, it's in the schools, it's the primary religion, whether it be Catholic, Protestant, Baptist, whatever, as long as it was Christian, it was the main religion. Wicca came along in about somewhere between 1940 and the 1950s, and Wicca introduced the White Witch. They introduced witchcraft. And in doing so, they introduced the possibility of being a witch, but being good. Because before that, when Christianity came in to be its big thing, only thing you knew about being a witch was evil, bad, ugly, something horrible. So Wicca comes in with its creation, and it expresses that you can be a witch and be a good person. So now it starts to be accepted. But with that acceptance, many people decided to search and research much, much deeper into the earlier practices before the Christian conversion. And this is where paganism started from. This is the people that worship deities and the ground and spirituality, Native American practices, things like that. The Christian conversion come in is what added all of this stuff to hoodoo, voodoo, Santeria, and to the Christian witch of today. And the problem I have with it personally is because I have talked to many young people, young adults, children, and also older adults who cannot be pagan in this world, in this life that they live in, whether it be family or friends, the workplace, or, just not knowing how to socialize with other people with this belief system that is so different. And that's because the majority of the world is forced on this Christianity, and they push it really hard in every aspect of our lives. Okay, so if you step out of that box or you believe differently, you are shunned, you are tormented, you're kicked out of the family, or, you're harassed. I've seen this so many times in so many cases, in so many different age groups too. Children to teens to young adults to even older adults. And I personally have seen a lot of people that claim to be Christo-Pagan are sitting on the fence because of that emotional issue. That they have to be this for the family, for the friends, for acceptance, so they don't feel so alone or so shunned, but in reality they feel this, okay? I look at it like this, in my personal opinion, is that if you are Christian, then be Christian. If you are pagan, then be pagan. And those that cannot accept you for either or, they're not worthy of you as a person, as an individual. As an individual, you are absolutely entitled to and worthy of whatever kind of religion that feels right to you in your heart, okay? It doesn't matter whether it's Christianity, paganism, or just being an atheist, okay? It's what's in you as an individual. I feel that those that are Christo-Pagan, because of the ones that I've talked to, this is my own personal experience. I can only speak for myself, not for everybody. But in my personal experience, those that are Christo-Pagan or Christo-Witch are sitting right in the middle of that emotional turmoil, and so they have to choose one side with the other so that they can find a balance somewhere in their own lives. They're choosing Christianity because it's forced on them, and they're choosing paganism because this is what feels right, or vice versa. Now, I've not seen this very often, but it can happen where a person is raised in a pagan home and they don't feel like this is their answer. So they're holding on to this to appease their family, but then they're going to church because this is what feels right to them. I have also seen that, not very often, because basically, to the reason why for that is because paganism It's pretty broad. It's pretty open. It's about you as an individual. It's about you following what's in your heart. It's about you being a good person. It doesn't matter whether you follow the elements, or if you follow the fae, or anything like that. It's about you as a person, how you get along with others. And no, we don't all get along with each other. It's just, that's human life. But you're not forced into a little box. Okay, so that's why it's not very common for a pagan family to turn against their children that turn Christian, because it is such a broad horizon of being who you are, to where on this side, you have to be a certain way. You have to wear your hair a certain way. You have to go to Mass at a certain time. You have to behave in this manner. And if you don't, you are shamed or guilted or even shunned completely away from the church or your family. So with that, and the way people are treated, they take this and they take this, they put it together to find acceptance. Also, trying to be fair, there are a few out there that are totally comfortable with mixing the two, and they do not have any emotional turmoil. That is just where they're at in their lives. They're very comfortable with it. But that number, in my personal experience, those that I have talked to, is very small. Okay, it's a very unique number. Very few people have that. Trying to not put my own judgment in there, but that's just what I've experienced with it. The Christo-Pagan is a person that takes a little bit of this, they take a little bit of that, and they put them together. And the reason behind it is for acceptance in some way, shape, or form. Okay? There was a law created in 1683, and it was about the conversion of religion and how you legally could not force conversion. Those of us in 2019, we know and realize this is still very much happening, okay? But we recognize it as Christian versus pagan. But that's not why the law was created. It wasn't about Christian versus pagan. It was about Christian versus Christian. To be exact, it was the Catholic versus the Protestant, because this is what happened in the 1600s, late 1600s. The Protestants would go to the children and preach guilt or shame them into following their section of Christianity, and that in doing so they would cause issues with the Catholic families that didn't want this. So the Catholics fought back, and in doing so they made this law that said you could not force conversion. You could not force somebody to change religions, that they had to come to a religious choice on their own. At the same time, though, what was happening in the personal homes with the Protestants and the Catholics is that if a Protestant child or adult felt that they wanted to follow the Catholic side, then they would be shunned. Same thing in a Catholic home. If you chose to follow this side, you were shunned in your home. Many couples would get together, a Catholic and a Protestant. The whole families would banter and bash one another or shun each other over love because of religion. So that law right there that stands still on the books about you cannot force religion was actually Christian versus Christian. That's how strong that religion is. That's how big it is in comparison to everything else. So with that knowledge that I have just shared with you is why I personally believe that the Christo-Pagan exists, why it's even a practice, because of how large of an influence this is as Christianity. And paganism is an influence, but it's not a force. It's not pushed. You don't have to do it. You walk in the door, you walk back out the door. It's that simple. If you want to learn, great, we'll teach you. If you don't, well, hey, it was nice knowing you. We hope the best for you. That's not it. That's it. You're not shunned. You're not bashed. You're not bantered. It's you. You're to choose your own way. You're to choose your own path. But I am open to conversation on this. If you feel like I need more information, if you feel like I didn't cover something, then please do comment on the thread, and I'll be glad to answer every single one. If you feel that you could teach me something, I'm open to learning, absolutely 100%. So please like, share, subscribe, and I love you all. Thank you very much. Mwah.